Hey everyone, it's Haley, and today I'm going to be talking about my most anticipated YA releases for fall 2017. So before I get into this video, I wanted to say thank you guys so much for your patience last week. For those of you who don't follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I update those a little bit more frequently because it's a little bit easier than putting out a video. But last week we found out, actually this week, but when you're watching this it will be last week. And if you already watched my reading vlog for this week, then you would already know this as well. But the point is that we found out that my cat Jackson has cancer and he only has a few months left to live, so I was kind of struggling with that information. Obviously that's, I mean, devastating. So I didn't put up a video last week and I didn't put up a reading vlog because we had been waiting for results from the biopsy, so I just didn't want to put up a reading vlog. I didn't really have enough footage because I didn't want to film, but I did make sure that I got up a reading vlog this week, and I want to keep on doing YouTube now because it is something that makes me happy, and I don't want to fixate on the fact that I'm losing my best friend because that is the most heartbreaking thing. So I'm trying to kind of keep myself busy. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for all of your kind messages. I read every single one of them and they honestly mean the world to me. I appreciate the support so much, so thank you very much. And I don't know what's going to happen in the coming months. If things get very bad with him, I likely won't want to make videos, but I'm going to try and stay as consistent as possible on here, on Instagram, Twitter. I usually am because I like to give you guys updates mostly there, but I really don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what to expect, and I just want to enjoy the last little bit that I have with him, and I'm going to stop talking about it now because I'm going to start crying again, and if I start crying I will never stop. So since it's right before Christmas, there are quite a few great new releases coming out. Not as much as summer. There are a ton that come out at the end of September. Actually, on the day that this video is going up, there are a ton of great new releases coming out, but there are still a few that are a little bit later but are still coming out before Christmas. There's nothing from December on this list. Everything is from October or November. But without further ado, since this is already a really long intro and a really depressing intro, let's just get into the video. So the first couple of books I actually already own, the first one being Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray. This is the third book to the Diviners series. I'm pretty sure it's going to be 4 books, but don't quote me on that. But this one actually came out way closer to the sequel than the sequel actually came out to the first one. So the Diviners came out in like 2010, and then it was like 3 or 4 years before Layer of Dreams came out, but this is actually only a couple of years after Layer of Dreams came out, so that is exciting. Now the Diviners is this really creepy 1920s mystery historical fiction. It is amazing, and I'm excited to read the next installment. The second one I liked, but I didn't like it quite as much as the first one, so I'm hoping that I will still enjoy this one. And once again, this series got a cover change. It had the most gorgeous covers when it first came out, and then they changed it to one that's like meh, and then they changed it again. I don't know if this is better. I don't know. I'll probably do a cover changes video. Well, I'm definitely going to do one in the future again, but once I do that, then you will see which one I like better because I don't want to think about it right now. And this is coming out on October 3rd, and I obviously can't give you much of a synopsis because spoilers. Next up is actually the book that I'm currently reading, and that is Wild Beauty by Anna Marie McLemore, or McLemore. I still don't really know how to say that. I just kind of wing it. But this is also coming out on October 3rd, and I'm lucky enough to have an ARC of it, which I was so excited about, but then I put it off for such a long time because I was like, it's coming out in October, I'm fine. And then all of a sudden October was here. But now I'm finally reading it, and I'm almost 100 pages in, and it's very weird. It's a magical realism, very slow burning. It's all about like flowers and this family. Hard to describe, and I think you just need to go into it and give it a go. I feel like magical realisms, you have to kind of go into knowing as little as possible and being very patient with the story as it unfolds. But the story is really blossoming. Do you see what I did there? Because it's about flowers, and I'm really enjoying it so far, and I can't wait to get more into it. So I will probably be done it by the time this video goes up, and I will let you know on Goodreads and such how I felt about it, as well as in my wrap-up, so you can wait for that or check my Goodreads to see how I felt about it. I moved myself slightly off center because then I have like a space to put the cover rather than being center, and then like where do I put the cover for the book? So that's why I'm suddenly a little bit more to my right, probably your left. Next is Far From the Tree by Robin Benway. This is also coming out on October 3rd, and you might remember if you watched, I don't remember which reading vlog it was, but one of my reading vlogs, I actually pre-ordered this book. I haven't gotten my pre-order yet, but I'm very excited to get it. This book is about 3 adopted siblings who end up meeting, and they end up going on this quest to find their biological family, and they're all from these different backgrounds. I'm very intrigued by this subject because I've never really read a book about adopted children, I don't think at least, let alone adopted siblings who then come to me. I think that just sounds so intriguing, and seeing their different upbringings and how it affects them, kind of a nature versus nurture thing going on there. So I'm very intrigued by this, and I'm hoping it will not let me down. I have heard amazing reviews so far, so I definitely have very high hopes. Next up is the last book on this list that I own, and that is Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. This sounds amazing, and it has also been getting great reviews. This is coming out on October 10th, and it is an East Asian retelling of the Evil Queen myth. I think that just sounds like a recipe for success. It sounds like it's going to be amazing, so I can't wait to give it a go. And now the rest of the books on this list I don't own yet, but I have pre-ordered quite a few of them. I have been pre-ordering books recently, which I never used to do, but then there have been a lot of good deals for pre-ordering books, so I have just been pre-ordering a ton. And it's kind of lovely when the book just shows up on your doorstep on release day. It's like, oh, thank you. I feel like it's a gift from past Hailey to future Hailey. How nice. So the next book is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green, which admittedly don't like the cover for it. Also very, very, very nervous for it. But this is coming out on October 10th, and in case you don't know John Green, he is the author of The Fault in Our Stars, as well as many other books, Looking for Alaska among them. And I do really love his stuff, but I haven't loved all of his stuff. I didn't really like An Abundance of Catherines. I can't remember which other ones I didn't really like that much, but I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one. Basically, his books are really like hit or miss for me. I do still consider him one of my favorite authors though, because The Fault in Our Stars had a really big hand in getting me to love reading, so I do credit him with a lot of my love of reading, but I'm just so nervous since he hasn't written something in such a long time, and he has such big shoes to fill after his last book, The Fault in Our Stars, did so well. I'm very nervous for him. So I'm hoping I will like it. This seems very different than his other books. I don't admittedly know too much about the synopsis because I was just like, John Green, I want to give it a go. But it follows a fugitive billionaire and this mystery pursuit of him, all that stuff, so we'll see how it goes. Next up is All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater, and this is another book that I don't really know a lot about, but I was just like, Maggie Stiefvater, gotta pick it up, and I'm excited to pick it up. All I know is that when she was writing it, she was using hashtag dark novel, I think something like that, so I believe this is going to be dark and perfect for around Halloween, and I pre-ordered it, and I really want my pre-order to come in. I'm so excited for it. Maggie Stiefvater is the author of the Raven Boys Quartet, which is amazing. I love her writing. I learned so many new words while reading her books. It is absolutely incredible, but I'm very nervous for this because the reviews have been very mixed so far, so we'll see how it goes. Also, this is coming out on October 10th. I forgot to say that. Next up is Dear Martin by Nick Stone. This is coming out on October 17th, and this sounds kind of akin to The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, and I loved that book, and I think that books like that are really important to have, especially in YA, so young readers are being exposed to that kind of thing. So this is all about a boy who ends up being racially profiled by a police officer, and from my understanding, this is told in an epistolary style, so it's told in journals to Martin Luther King Jr. That's why it's called Dear Martin, and it is basically the main character, Justice, trying to figure out, why is this happening? Why have I been pegged as a bad person when I am actually a really good person and I do everything I can to be a good person, but just because of the color of my skin, I am being profiled as a terrible person. I think this story has the potential to be an amazing and powerful book, and I can't wait to read it. Next up is The Glass Bear by Lauren DiStefano, and this is coming out on October 24th, and I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't really interested in this, and then when I went to the HarperCollins Frenzy Presents event, they were talking about it and it sounded really cool. They mentioned what power the main character of this book has, because basically her kingdom ends up getting attacked and she ends up discovering her power in the midst of this attack, but I don't remember what the power was, but when they said the power, I was like, ooh, that seems really cool. And when they were talking about this book, I was very intrigued by it, so I put it on my TBR after that because it sounds very interesting. At first I thought it was going to be like the typical fantasy, but it doesn't really sound like that so much anymore, and the reviews on Goodreads from people who have gotten the ARC are amazing, so I'm kind of hopeful. But it follows the only daughter of the king of the wealthiest nation in the world, and she has been acting as a spy to him, so kind of living in his shadow, and she's been spying on things for him, not a spy to him, a spy for him rather. And then, like I said, she discovers this power and chaos erupts when her kingdom is attacked. perfect. Next up is Here We Are Now by Jasmine Warga. This is coming out on November 7th, and Jasmine Warga is the author of My Heart and Other Black Holes, which came out a couple of years ago. It's been a while now, but I really enjoyed that book. It was very powerful, poignant story. It deals with suicide and depression. Those are the main topics, so just trigger warning for that. This book is very different. It follows this girl who has been writing letters to this rock star, the lead singer of her favorite band, for a very long time, and then the lead singer ends up showing up on her doorstep because he turns out to be her father. So it sounds interesting. Sounds like there's a lot of potential for it to be very cool, but also lots of potential for it to be kind of a failure. So I'm interested to see how it's going to go, especially since I enjoyed her first book so much, so we shall see. Next up is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. This is coming out on November 7th. Marissa Meyer is the author of Heartless as well as Lunar Chronicles. She has tons of books out there and they are all very great, and this one sounds like it's going to be awesome as well. So this is kind of a sci-fi fantasy blend that follows these superhumans who have emerged from a fallen society. They overthrew the society in order to bring peace to the world, and they act as these symbols of hope for people, except for those that they have overthrown. And this book follows one of those people who are not very happy with how the Renegades, the superhumans, have been ruling. So this is the first book Marissa Meyer has written that isn't a retelling, and I'm kind of sad about that because I love retellings, but I'm willing to give it a go. And my final most anticipated release for fall 2017 is The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. Cynthia Hand is the author of the Unearthly trilogy, which is very classic YA. I thought it was okay. It was like meh. But she is also a co-author of My Lady Jane alongside Jodi Meadows and Brody Ashton, and I loved My Lady Jane so much. That's one of like my favorite books. It is so good. So I'm interested to see how this is going to go, since it is the first book I'll be reading of hers that is just on her own since Unearthly. And I'm very apprehensive, but it sounds amazing as well because it's a Christmas Carol retelling where the main character ends up being like the ghost of Christmas past, but it's kind of like a sci-fi sort of ish spin on the Christmas Carol retelling, because there's this whole Operation Scrooge where they go and they like do the whole Scrooge thing to someone every year. It sounds so weird, but I'm just like, Christmas! So it'd be a perfect book to read for Bookmas this year. I'm noticing that even though I have my chair to the side, I keep on like leaning this way, which is not helpful for anyone. Also, I don't think I mentioned it, but The Afterlife of Holly Chase is coming out on November 24th, which is 6 days before my birthday, in case anyone cares. I'm turning 22, which I'm very happy about because 2 is one of my favorite numbers, and like double 2, that's just great. So those are all of my most anticipated releases for fall 2017. Like I said, there are so many great new releases coming out, and I can't wait to get my hands on them. Let me know what your most anticipated release of fall 2017 is, and don't forget to subscribe. Put out new reading vlogs every Monday, new main videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and sometimes I will do a BiblioBabble or review and an unboxing on Wednesdays. And I do have quite a few BiblioBabbles to film, so you should be getting those soon, hopefully. Like I said, that schedule might be a little bit interrupted just due to personal things in my life right now that I need to take care of me as well as my little man Jackson. So if you wanted to see how that is going and see if I am going to stick to my regular uploading schedule, I always let you know when I put up a video on Twitter, so you can follow my Twitter, which is @HailesInBookland. You can also follow me on Instagram because I've been very active there lately. I have been loving Instagram, loving doing the Bookstagram thing. I am enjoying it thoroughly. It takes so much time, but I love doing it. So my Instagram is @HaileyInBookland. All that stuff is down below for you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!